Hello, and welcome to the We Recommend podcast, a movie podcast where every week we recommend a movie for you to watch and then come back here to listen to us discuss. I'm Jesse.
I'm Jason.
And we're here to make you think about movies and stuff, because this week we recommend Scott Pilgrim versus the World!
Yeah. Calm down, Jason.
Did that work? That's going to be fun to edit. So, this would be the first time you watched it, even though we're redoing this episode.
Yes.
In quotations, what did you think about the first time you watched it?
I thought it was really cool. I liked the whole gaming aspect of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're a little gamer boy.
I'm a gamer boy. And
So
I
that hit.
I thought it was, it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was just pretty cool.
Yeah. I love it. And so they were able to get like some of Nintendo to allow them to use like Zelda noises, some Mario stuff.
There was a Great Fairy song part of it.
Oh, yeah.
When he's
Yeah, I know
dreaming.
what you're talking about. I think I have that in my notes somewhere. But then everybody turns into coins like in Mario
Yeah,
when you kill them. It's dope. But this film is, I guess I could talk about, the fact that it's one of my favorite movies.
Of all time.
Yeah.
Do that.
I remember I watched it because it's directed by Edgar Wright. He did Shaun of the Dead
Yeah.
and Hot Fuzz.
It's awesome.
Like two of the best movies ever made.
They're really good.
I watch them all the time. Not as much Hot Fuzz, even though I think that's secretly the best of the Cornetto trilogy or whatever. But this one was, I don't know, it's his first North American film because, he's British. And he's like, I just want to make it. So since I'm making like a Canadian themed thing, I'm only going to use North American people. So I thought that was funny. I don't know where I was going with that. But I just remember the first time I watched it, I was like, whoa, this movie rules.
Yeah.
To the point where anytime I'm listening to a song in the car, I'm picturing myself being like the band or whatever. I always think of scenes in this movie, but me inside of it.
That's cool.
That makes any sense.
Sure.
I'm just imagining myself, fantasizing about myself.
I also
being on stage
imagine
there.
you being in this movie because,
Yeah.
I don't know, you just kind of remind me of Michael Cera.
Oh,
sometimes.
I'm just going to take that as a diss on my hair sometimes.
Oh, he does have bad hair.
God, it's the worst. You
Yeah,
remember when I got my bad haircut?
Yeah.
And it was where
See?
it was really bad in the back?
Uh-huh.
Well, he has that exact hair, except
It's
turned
opposite,
around front.
right.
I will have nightmares about that haircut forever.
And you still tipped her. Good on you.
I tipped her like $10 too because I tip
You
nicely
just
at a hair
here, take
salon.
some lessons.
I should have gone back and be like, hey, those $10, you should really save that because you're not gonna have a job.
There's a class on Udemy right now for $9.99.
I was like, what? She just usually get guys and just shave their heads completely? Is that the only hairstyle?
She
Anyways,
was probably stoned.
I don't know. I
The
can't.
last time I went to Great Clips, the girl was real high. Like, you could smell her.
Really?
And you could smell, not her, you could smell the smoke.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, she was so stoned. She couldn't do anything right. She messed my hair up pretty good.
Oh God, there's nothing worse than a bad haircut.
Mm.
It's like I have to live with this, and it's
No.
like for us long-haired boys, you mess up a haircut. It's like, no, you made it too short. I don't look like me anymore.
It's not your identity.
It's the worst.
No, I had to get it redone by someone better.
Yeah, I ended up doing the same. What were we talking about?
There's a movie.
Oh, sorry.
Some kind of movie.
Oh, yeah. It's just when I first saw this, it was just an adrenaline shot straight to me. There's so many points in this movie where it's just like I get chills, tingles. I don't know. It's like in the part towards the end,
Goosebumps.
like when they're doing the song Threshold where they're fighting the Katanagi twins.
Oh, yeah.
And what's his name? Steven, the talent, the main singer. And Scott just gives this speech and he's like, I got tingles. And I was like, that's how I feel during the whole movie. But also, it's just a very witty and quick like, on its feet movie with the
Right.
dialogue and the
Yeah.
transitions, because Edgar Wright's kind of known for his cool transitions. It's like you're watching a scene, a character turns around and says something, and then it zooms out and they're in a new place. And it's
Yeah.
like, "How do you do this?" Something walks by and it's like a whole new setting. It's like, I don't know, it's crazy, it's great.
I thought, I noticed that whenever they go through the doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
It
was
could be
cool.
like you never know or, "Oh, they walked through something?" Could be a whole new world.
Yeah,
You never know.
yeah.
But this movie has a crazy cast. Cast. Cast.
Crazy.
This cast is crazy. I mean, it stars Michael Cera, and this is I'm assuming it was cast around 2008, 2009. So, they're not nearly as popular as they are now.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, Michael Cera, which Edgar Wright said that Michael Cera and Mary Elizabeth Winstead, he had them in mind immediately whenever he read the script.
Oh, wow.
He's like, "These are who I want to be." I'm not sure why Mary Elizabeth Winstead, I don't remember what she was doing at the time, but he loved Michael Cera from Arrested Development.
Yeah.
I think it's obvious that he's an Arrested Development fan because it has Mae Whitman,
Oh,
Egg,
yeah, yeah.
that
That's one
plays
of my
Roxy.
favorite shows. Oh my
Yeah, we're
gosh.
rewatching it actually right now.
The
We're
first
on, like, season 3.
yeah, the first 3 seasons, I think,
Are perfect.
are perfect. Yeah, I haven't really paid much attention to the ones after.
Yeah, like the Netflix done ones.
Yeah.
They're good. They're
So
just
yeah, some of
kinda
them are kinda good.
they're, like especially the Job stuff in the new like, the 4th season, it's so
Face
funny.
blindness.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. And then we have Kieran Culkin, from what's the movie that the Culkins are in?
I don't know.
Home Alone. He's
Wait,
the one that drinks the Pepsi and burps.
oh, okay.
That's this
That's his
Culkin that plays Wallace, the gay
yeah,
roommate.
okay.
But also now he's
Wow.
super famous and the most famous Culkin because he's in Succession and he's like the best part of that show.
Awesome.
And this would be let's see, this is episode 9, so it'd be the ninth straight episode that I talk about Kieran Culkin in Succession. Aubrey Plaza, she was cast in this before she even got the role in Parks and Rec,
That's
so she
awesome.
wasn't anybody at this point. Brie Larson, very, like, not really known. Ellen Wong plays Knives. This is her first ever movie,
Oh, cool.
and even though she plays a 17-year-old, she's, like, 2 years older than Michael Cera.
Well, that
So
makes me
when
feel
you
better.
think about that part, don't think of it being too weird. Chris Evans in here for he's Captain America. Jason Schwartzman, everybody knows him. He plays Gideon, like the douchebag.
Oh, yeah.
But man, he always plays such a great douchebag.
Yeah.
Superman himself, Brandon Routh. He was Superman at the time, which is cool, isn't
Oh,
it?
yeah, I guess so.
Allison Pill plays Kim. Anna Kendrick, she got this role for she even like auditioned
Oh, yeah,
for
she's great.
Twilight. She wasn't even Twilight yet.
Dang.
It's funny. She also looks older than Michael Cera, but she's I think like I think she is older, even though she plays like the younger sister. Mae Whitman plays Roxy. But yeah, that's the cast.
I didn't pick up that
Stacked.
that was the younger sister,
Yeah, I know, because she comes off as an
and a
older
much
sister for
older
sure,
sister.
yeah. I think it just goes into kinda like the theme of the movie where Scott is just even though, I mean, he's not the older of all the friends, but he acts like he's still in high school because it's kind of a movie about growing up in your early 20s and finding
Yeah.
yourself. Because once you get out of high school, it's like, "What?" And then once you proceed a little further and it's like, "I'm still where I am," and it's just one of the things where, I don't know, you just feel lost in the world, right?
I get it.
Yeah.
Been there. Super lost.
Yeah.
Homeless even.
Really? You're
For
homeless?
for a
Whoa.
little while, yeah.
Wow. When did you join the army?
Couch to couch. I was 20 so I was 27 when I joined, quotation marks. First day of boot camp was my 28th birthday. It was
Really?
super sweet.
That's wild.
Uh,
So, like, before that, you're just living on couches?
yeah. Well, no, not at that point. I had gotten a house, renting a house at that point, but
Oh, gotcha.
I did have a child on the way. It's like, gotta do something
Gotta
with
get
my
it
life.
right. Gotta figure this out. Well, darn, too bad you didn't join a band and fall in love with a pixie dream girl.
Yeah. Is that what she's going for with the hair?
Yeah, I think what do they call it? Uh,
Is it a
Pixie
pixie cut?
well,
When she has those 2 long bangs?
yeah. Well, there's like a s
But
in movies, they have a specific word for girls like her that come in a guy's life, and they're kind of, you know, not wild per se, but aloof and just kinda do what they want and just come into your life and change you. What is it called? Pixie
like
Dream.
Wild Style from the Lego Movie.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Manic Pixie Dream Girl, that's what it's called, yeah.
Oh,
And
awesome.
it's just like, uh, static characters who have eccentric personality quirks and are unabashedly girlish, which I don't think that they're usually just romantic interests for the people in it. But I think she has a little bit more. She's not, like, super girlish, I feel like.
Yeah.
She does like tea, though.
Yeah.
She does like tea. But the movie is based on a graphic novel by Brian Lee O'Malley, and so Edgar Wright, he signed on to do this movie in 2004. He got to read a script, that was, like, right after Shaun of the Dead came out and was considered a hit. He read a script, and he said he loved it, and he's like, "I'm gonna do it." He only made, like, a few changes. Beck, the
The
Canadian
band?
singer, yeah,
Oh,
who
the
does,
sing
like,
okay.
I'm a Loser.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
love
that guy.
yeah, he's awesome, but
Yeah,
I think
he
he's a
wrote all the
Scientologist.
yes, he is a Scientologist, and it is a bummer.
That is a bummer.
I think I was reading he's not, like, super into it, though,
Yeah,
so
it's only a matter of
I
time.
just feel like, how do you get super into it and still have, like, being popular outside of it? And it's like, can't you read, like, the stuff on the
You
internet
have to give
about
him
it?
millions of dollars.
That's true. It's like, he could have been making even more music if he didn't have to give them so much money.
Maybe.
I don't know how much they have to pay because I think being famous, you get to kind of you don't get the crappy treatment like you usually do in Scientology. Shouldn't
Yeah,
talk too
right.
much about them. We're gonna get
The more
sued
money
by
you give
one.
them, the
Yeah.
better they treat you.
Yeah, exactly. But Beck, he wrote all the Sex Bomb songs.
Oh, sweet.
At the very beginning of the intro, when you hear him like just playing and the room starts like
Yeah,
growing or
that's
whatever,
sweet.
like the voices that you're hearing it are Beck and I think one of his buddies. I can't remember his name. But speaking of that intro, Quentin Tarantino was the one that gave him the idea for it because it
Oh,
was originally
awesome.
just gonna go like from them talking about knives showing up, and then them starting to play. It's just gonna immediately cut to like more scenes. But Quentin said, "You need an intro for your movie," and that's what happened.
He kicks asses at intros.
Yeah, he really does. He crushes those. Freaking love Quentin. So Chris Evans, so he got the job because he loves Edgar Wright movies. But another person that auditioned for the movie was Sebastian Stan, the Winter Soldier, Bucky,
Heck yeah.
Chris Evans' best friend in the Avengers movies, which I thought that'd been funny.
Oh.
Um, so before shooting, Edgar Wright gave all the actors 10 secrets for their characters,
Oh,
that no one else knew in the
how
cast.
fun.
I was only able to
And
find you're
unpredictable.
right, yeah. So it's just kinda like help give the actors, like, more meat to their characters. One of them was Julie, played by Audrey Plaza, super mean to Michael Cera the whole time, but I guess one of her secrets was that she had a secret crush on Scott in college.
Whoa.
That's why she's so aggro towards him. It's like, "You can't date Ramona Flowers." Anytime he brings something up like that, she's like, "I hate you." And Michael Cera already knew how to play the bass before the movie, so everybody else had to learn to play instruments.
Oh, wow.
And he was so good at the bass that he had to dumb down his bass playing to make
Aw,
them look better.
what?
I know. It's that sucks.
I guess it would have been harder for Neil to kinda
Yeah, right, yeah, he wouldn't
follow
be
him
able
up.
to do it. So, it's like Neil's just he'd probably just dun, 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 dun. Anyways, it's like he's like a lack of personality almost in the whole movie.
I thought he's just like a roadie at first.
Yeah,
Like,
that's all he is. He just repeats what everybody says throughout the film. It's so funny. "Hi, I'm Neil. I'm Neil."
young Neil.
Yeah. And if you watch the deleted scenes, there's an alternate ending where Scott ends up with knives at the very end. Because
Yeah, I can see
Ramona's just
that.
like, "I'm out of here." And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna stay here with her." But nobody really liked it.
Yeah, I
audience
mean, it is.
everybody was kinda mixed on it, test screenings, no one it
Yeah.
was getting, like, 50-50, and then when he showed him getting with Ramona, everybody's like, "This is way better. Let's do this." And I just don't really think it makes sense for him to get with Knives at the end,
No,
right?
it doesn't,
Yeah.
because he treated her like crap, and then that would be, like, her just kinda not being mad about it, you know?
Yeah, it defeats kind of I feel like the purpose. It's about the 2 characters growing up
Yeah,
and
that would defeat the whole purpose,
defeating the
right?
past, like, their past to become better in the future.
Yeah.
The film was a flop, and it didn't make back its budget. Like, it was between
That
60 and
sucks.
$85 million to shoot, only made 49 mil.
I wonder if the video game helped out with that.
I don't know.
I
Well, I know
never
the
played
video
it,
game,
but
I think, came out, like, 2 years later?
oh.
Yeah, but now it's a cult hit. This is another one of our movies that's a cult hit. I think it's our 6th or 7th cult hit that we've done.
Jesse is in a movie cult.
Yes. It's just funny. I don't understand why some movies don't connect to audiences immediately. It's like, "How did you not see this?" I should have watched the trailer. I wonder if it was this
Just a bad trailer.
I don't know, it had to be or something like that. Or maybe it's well, now, I mean, this is just nerd culture. It's just like, shoot it in our veins, video games, music,
Yeah, I guess that
action.
makes a lot of sense,
Yeah.
yeah.
And one of the last fun little facts here is so Edgar Wright didn't want anybody to blink when they're shooting. So if you watch it, you can see like nobody blinks. Their eyes are wide open. He
Genius.
just thought it'd be funny.
It is funny because that's what the doc did in Back to the Future.
Oh yeah, he doesn't really blink.
He never blinks the whole movie. He made sure to not do that to seem more eccentric.
Wow, I did not know that. Need to make a note of that so when we do go Back to the Future.
Yeah, that guy's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. That's a movie where it was the growing up watching, I was like, "Yeah, I like it, I like it." It's a movie I like, I don't love, and now every time I watch it, like, the older I get, the more I'm like, "I need more. Give me more of this movie." Because I guess as a kid, I was always like, "Ugh, I like Michael J. Fox, but not because of Back to the Future. It's all because of Spin City for some reason." As a preteen, I was all about Spin City, which was weird. It was just funny. But yeah, let's get into the plot, bro. I'm broing it up
Bro-
again. So much during the Labyrinth episode, I say bro to the point where I'm like, why am I doing this?
I know, but he made me do it too.
Yeah, then like after I stopped, you started doing it more, and I was
It's
like,
like we
what are
got to
we
bring the
doing?
bros back.
It's contagious. Bros are
Yes.
contagious,
Oh, get out of
which Ramona Flowers knows.
here.
But we start with an 8-bit universal theme. And so the way that they were able to do the 8-bit version was that at later point in the movie, they had to use the original Universal theme,
Yeah.
and so that's why they put it in when Lucas Lee comes out of his, trailer.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I was like, "God, clever!" And we start with, like,
Clever
a
girl.
narration that's like, "Mysterious place, Toronto, Canada."
So
But, like,
mysterious.
all the little narration and stuff is done by Bill Hader.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I say that's awesome a lot too.
Yeah. You know why? Because it's awesome.
No,
But
nothing I do is awesome.
we start the movie how every movie should start, talking about how a 22-year-old protagonist is dating a high school 17-year-old.
Hmm.
So
Yes.
cool.
Doesn't make me feel weird at all.
Nope. But for some reason, it's like I mean, he gets enough crap throughout the movie
Sure.
for that where it's like, yeah, okay. The movie's not saying it's a good thing.
Did you ever have this? Did you know this person in high school
What
that
like
would
Michael Cera's character, Scott?
right, or like you knew there was a guy that graduated like a year before you, but at my high school there was a guy that would every day he would come pick up his girlfriend
Oh,
from school and he would wait there.
I didn't know if you guys had stated. I mean, like, if you're just, like, a year or 2, it's, like, not as weird if you met in high school. I don't know.
But when you got to
It's
pick up your girlfriend from school, though,
that's true. It is always kinda awkward
it's
and
awkward.
yeah.
And her twin
Alright,
sister
don't forget your
to give
lunch.
him a ride home. Yeah, or her
Yeah,
twin sister.
yeah. Twin sister. There's
Yeah,
a whole story here somewhere. I
yeah,
know
they're just weird.
it. But I like this, whole opening because it gives them, like, little character cards. It's like,
Yeah,
"Scott Pilgrim, 22,
it's a stat sheet.
awesome." Yeah, it's great. But yeah, so the high schooler that he's dating is Knives Chow. You have Scott Pilgrim with his band, um, which is you got, like, the talent, Steven, got young Neil, and Kim, who's their female drummer, which is cool.
It is cool. It's rad.
Um, but they're talking about how Knives is coming, and so
She
she shows up,
really
and it's like
likes him.
yeah, it's like, "Is she gonna be good?" Or it's like,
She
he tells Knives, "Be good." "Am I
No,
usually not?"
no, you don't tell people that.
And
Like,
Steven's just like it's like, "She won't ge" or Scott's like, "She won't geek." It's like, "Well, I want her to geek. She geeks. She
she
has the potential to
she
geek."
can't she geeks so hard.
And then it starts, "We are sex bomb." And it's that man, it's just so much adrenaline to start the movie. I'm like, "God, this rules." It's like, I don't know. It sounds like garage rock, I guess, kind of.
Yeah,
Just
I
like what
think
you'd hear people playing in their garage,
it's
like just
exactly
going insane.
yeah.
So good.
Are they not in a garage?
No, that's just like their living room or
Oh,
something,
okay.
some weird room. But the band ends up liking her. Like, oh, she seems nice. Kim, if your life had a face, I would punch it. And we kind of see that there's a history between Kim and Scott. She thinks Scott is evil.
He is kinda evil.
Yeah, he really is. He's just in like a place in his life where
He
he
doesn't
doesn't
even
understand what
know.
he's doing. He's just doing things to feel. We meet Wallace, the gay roommate, played by
He's
Kieran
great.
Culkin. He's awesome.
He's so great in
He's
this
so
movie.
funny. Yeah. They're talking. He's explaining that he has like Chinese 17-year-old girlfriend. He tells him like, "Don't tell my sister." Walks into the bathroom. His sister immediately wakes up. And then she starts giving him crap about it. It's like, "Yeah, she's 17-year-old. She's Chinese. Goes to Catholic school with a uniform and everything." He's like, "Yes." And we learn that this is mainly just something he's doing because of his ex-girlfriend, the one who will not be named. It's the, Voldemort of the series.
Yeah. She's yeah,
Yeah,
Voldemort, I guess.
yeah.
She was blonde.
Everyone has that at some point has a girlfriend, it's like, "We don't talk about her. She broke me. I'll never
Oh
be the
god.
same." Except a year later or 2 whenever I completely forget about her because that's how life works.
Oh.
See, Scott, you just gotta wait. You
He's
just gotta learn.
still got the scars.
Yeah. He's too immature. He's not mature yet. Maybe he'll mature throughout the film. We'll find out.
No way. Shut
Yeah,
up.
but he dated Knives, they and Scott, they're hanging out, they go play this ninja dance game, he
I like this
explains
game. It looks fun.
yeah, right? It's
Eh,
like Dance Dance
I
Revolution,
thought it
but
was
ninja
just
style.
dance. Yeah, I thought it was just the DDR.
Mhm.
Uh, but no, you're fighting. You're dance fighting. It's wonderful.
And he could do cool tricks, like jump on each other's backs and stuff.
Which I don't understand how the game would know that, but
Yeah,
whatever.
and he explains that Pac-Man was called Puck-Man, but then if they're scared, they'll scratch off the P and turn it to Fuck-Man.
They would.
And Knives finds Scott so cool. We learn that Scott dated the lead singer of Clash at the Demon Head. Her name's Envy, and that he's sad about her because she cheated on Scott. Something Scott would never do.
Nope.
Cut to 5 minutes later.
5 minutes later.
But they're walking home. He's like, "No, you can't come in. It's kind of a no girls allowed." He's like, "You want to see where I grew up?" "Oh yeah, sure." Turns around. Here it is. And it's just adding to the fact where he's like, "I've done nothing. I'm doing nothing with my life. I'm so alone." But he sees a girl with pink hair roller skating through his
Blew
dreams.
his mind.
Yes. And then later, so I guess he wakes up from the dream and he's like, "Aren't you supposed to meet your 17-year-old girlfriend like 30 minutes ago? What are you talking about? It's only 6 o'clock."
The son.
Yeah. So they go to the library and he sees Ramona there. And you see him kind of starting slowly to lose interest in knives. Uh, we see Scott's distracted at band practice. And Kim's like, "Is it your girlfriend? Is she bothering you?"
I'll be quieter.
"I'll be quieter." But so they end up going to a party and he's just kind of roaming around.
I love well, yeah, he's after he finds out that she might be there,
Yeah.
he pulls out that picture that he drew of her.
It's
Do
so
you recognize this girl? It's
you
just
know, a girl that has hair like this? It's just like
and he knew exactly
a circle with
it's
squiggles on top of it. It's so funny. She's gonna be here? And he goes up to talk to her and tries to do his Pac-Man joke, and it does not land at all. "I'll leave you alone forever." Yeah, that'd be nice. Oh, God, this movie's so clever. I love it. And then he's running around to everybody talking to him, like, about Ramona, and they're like, "Yeah, man, you gotta watch out for her. She has battle scars, dude." And then goes and talks to Julie, and Julie forbids him for seeing her. "She's the coolest person at the party. Don't make her leave." Too late.
She's great.
Yeah.
She's like, "Stop it.
I know
Don't do it."
she's always been so good at playing that, like, type of character. Then we learn that Scott is a tool because of the way he treats girls, because he's
Yep.
essentially broken up with almost every girl that he's been with, and it's for, like, dumb reasons. It's like, "What about Kim? She's cool." "No, Kim's cool. Like,
Yeah, we're
she's
cool
not
now,
mad at
right?
me." You look at her, and she's, like, staring at him with a death stare. But so we're back with, Scott and Wallace, they're hanging out. Scott confesses that he loves Ramona, and so because Scott or Wallace comes in, he, like, flicks his keys on him and, like, hits him in the face. Then he just, like, falls because he's so drunk and, like, while he's saying all this stuff to Wallace, Wallace is like, "You should break up with your fake high school girlfriend." It's like, "What? I can't hear you. You should break up with your fake high school girlfriend." I'm not comprehending. It's like, "Make sure you don't" it's like, "Don't talk to my sister about this."
Immediately calls
Immediately a
it.
phone call. It's like, "You're not really thinking about dating Ramona Flowers. How'd you find out?" "Wallace."
He's got his hand on his phone,
Yeah.
even texting.
And she immediately is like, "You should break up with your fake ex-girlfriend or fake high school girlfriend." And then it's the next just gay. It's like Day, Scott, and gay all mixed together. Scott gets an email about 7 evil exes, and he's just skimming through it, and it's so
So it's
boring.
come to my attention that we're gonna have a fight to the death later.
Yeah. It's like you have to fight for the heart of Ramona. But Scott's obsessing over Ramona, and it's getting further, even more distant from Knives, and then she just shows up at the house. And so they're hanging out. He's just like not into it anymore, and he's trying to muster up the confidence to break up with her. And it looks like he's going to, and doesn't, because he's a
Yes.
coward. Um, so the band enters a Battle of the Bands, the TIBB, Toronto International Battle of the Bands. I don't know. I think that's so funny. I don't know why. It's just the way it's written.
Uh,
I don't know. And if they win, they can sign with G-Man. And Knives is excited. He's like, "I'm gonna be there. I'm getting out of my babysitting job." And then as
well, I love how Scott gets Ramona to come to the
y
Battle of the Bands
yeah,
really fun. He
right.
orders something that she is forced to deliver
Yeah, I know.
to his house.
It's like, how do you order it's like, what's, the website for Amazon.ca? Amazon.ca?
uh, yeah, it was so funny, just awkward for everyone, I think.
Yeah, and
And
he's
then all I tell is when she's skating away, the ice is melting in front of her.
mhm,
That
yeah,
was
it's
kind of
so
cool.
cool. Yeah, so Ramona delivers the packages. He asks her out. She's like, "Will you sign this?" It's like, "But if I sign, you'll leave." It's like, "That's how it
Oh
works."
no, yuck.
She's like, "So if I say yes, does that mean you'll sign the package?" Signs it, throws it immediately away. And that took him 33 takes to get right, which
Wow.
isn't that bad, really.
Just like the backward shot to the
Yeah.
trash can?
If you go on to deleted scenes section, they have it where you can watch him do every single throw. There's so many times he gets close, it's so funny. We learn so they meet up, we learn that Ramona is getting away from her ex, so she that's why she moved to Toronto. I mean, like, you have a little scene where they're all talking, they're having chemistry, uh, cute, it's awesome. I don't know. I love little scenes like this. And then we see that there's a door with a star on it, which is a, like, homage to Mario,
Oh,
because
yeah.
you
That
always
makes
go through
sense.
stars, especially in
Yeah, in Mario
which one?
64, that's what you
64,
did.
yeah, you go through all the stars. Um, so they're just sitting, like, at her house, he's cold, he's like, "You want some tea?" She names off, like, 300 teas.
One was called liver damage
Yeah,
or
something
something.
like that, it's so weird. I just love that scene because, like, you can just see how talented Mary Elizabeth Winstead is, because she's, like it's a close-up on her face while she's reading it, and her mouth is moving so fast, but her eyes are just, like, staying the same and slowly moving. I don't know. I've just seen it so much that I'm just like, "Wow, that's so impressive that she can do that so quickly," but, like, not showing the erraticness on her face, I guess? I don't know.
She has to do it a lot.
Yeah, and so he's wanting a blanket, and so she goes and gets the blanket, but I guess she's taking so long, and he walks in on her and she's changing. So in my head, I'm like, "She didn't go get a blanket." So she walked in that room, and I'm assuming just stood there with, like, her shirt, like, almost off until he was gonna walk in on her, and she's like, "Oh, what?"
Whoops.
Um, but then he's like, "Were you just gonna bring
You
bring
gonna
the
bring that blanket?
hey, bring that blanket to me." It's like, "Were you just gonna bring the one from the bed?" It's like, "Well, if we're both cold, what if we just got under the blanket in the bed?" And then they start making out. But I like this scene because it's like, throughout
It's sweet.
we learn that it's like it's 2 broken people, like, finding comfort in each other, but he still needs to break up with his
His
fake
girl
high school
his fake
girlfriend.
nice girlfriend.
But, Scott invites her the next day, Scott invites her to the Battle of the Bands. He gets her number with 7 X's on it. I love it. He's like, "Wow,
A girl
girl
number.
number." And so it's the Battle of the Bands at the Rocket. And he sees Ramona, it's like, "She totally came." "Yeah, I totally came." And then you have this awkward confrontation between Knives, Ramona, Scott, Wallace,
She just runs up and kisses
and
him.
Stacy and her BF. Yeah. Oh, when she kisses him, it's so awkward.
Weird.
And so he just runs away because that's what he does at this point in the movie. He runs away from everything. And then it's Crash and the Boys, that band with Crash and
The
the
boys and
Boys?
the girl drummer.
Yeah, which upsets Kim
Yeah,
a lot.
she was mad.
And, they have a couple good songs like "We're Here to Make You Sad" and "Think About Death"
It's
and
like a
stuff.
second long.
So sad.
And he got, Culkin up there.
Yeah,
He's like, "It's not a
it's
race."
not a
Just
race.
hitting on
Yeah.
his what is that to her? Like,
That's like,
her best friend?
Stacy's boyfriend.
Right, he's hitting on Stacy's boyfriend, but I thought, like, the relationship between
Wallace and Stacy.
Wallace and Stacy, are they,
Yeah,
like,
I guess they're just
pals? I
friends
don't know.
because he lives with Scott, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So, they play another song which kinda rules. Steven's freaking out when they play. Then we see Stacy is egging on, like, the awkwardness between Ramona and Kim. Not Kim, Knives. And then Scott's like, slap Steven. "We need to play now and loud."
Which I think Steven needed that at that
Yeah, he
moment.
definitely did. He's like, "Whoa." And then Knives freaks out and passes out. And they play Garbage Man.
Yeah,
Love that song.
that
That
was
song's
pretty fun.
so good. And I don't know, Michael Cera, it's just I guess it's the way it's shot, like, everybody's, like, nodding their head, and Ramona starts, like, smiling at Scott, and I don't know.
It was a cool scene,
It's
yeah.
so cool. I love it. I love
I love
it.
going to concerts like that too.
Yeah. I don't really go to a lot of concerts. Something me
Oh,
and
no,
Natalie
not
are trying
anymore.
to last one we went to was Backstreet Boys?
Sweet.
Yeah, and it ruled as much as you
Ah.
think it ruled.
Uh,
But the song is interrupted by Matthew Patel, a Indian guy who dresses like a pirate. But this is their first evil X. Ugh, these fight scenes are so good too.
Yeah, I thought he did a really cool
Yeah.
job with this fight scene.
And so since this was gonna be his first, like, big budget with fight scenes, he went to, like, Quentin Tarantino, Guillermo del Toro, and some other director to get, like, notes for fight scenes, which I thought was really interesting
That
and
is
cool.
cool.
But
How
Scott
about make him fight?
Scott's wondering why they're fighting. Matthew's like, "Didn't you get my email? I skimmed it, right?" It's like, "You will die for your insolence."
I love how immediately, Scott just knows how to fight.
Yeah, like,
Like, awesome.
that's the thing, everybody in this movie, when they have to fight, just knows how to fight.
They're just experts,
It's the video
martial
gameness of
arts.
this. I think I'm after we finish recording,
Kinda wanna find it and play it.
I think it's on the Switch now,
That's cool.
so I may get it on the Switch, as long as it's not expensive.
Yeah, hopefully it's cheap.
Yeah. But Matt and Ramona, they explained how they went out. They went out in 7th grade, like, all the jocks wanted her,
Yeah, they fought together.
and he was the only, like, non-jock, non-white guy there. So they joined forces to take down all the jocks. They only went out for like a week and a half,
It's harsh, man, getting your ass kicked just for liking a girl.
right? Oh, also, one little thing, he has mythical powers.
Yeah, you can summon demons.
Scott's like, he has mythical powers? And it like starts floating him in the air. Oh, wait, yeah, something like that. Um, but they have this dope fight. This is also the worst song in the entire movie. It's not very, I think it's supposed to be that way, not catchy and doesn't rhyme very well. So and we see like he's throwing fireballs at him. He misses Scott and ends up killing Crash and the boys.
Yeah, they're right behind him, they're
Yeah.
just evaporated.
Which is how they win the Battle of the Bands. But like it gets to one of the last lines of the song before Scott beat him. It's like that didn't even rhyme. And then Scott goes to throw like a little, what do you call those?
Like
The metal
the
thing?
plate, oh, it was a symbol.
Symbol, that's what it's called. Wow, brain fart. I love that it goes to like you can hear them like thinking in their head. It goes, how could this be? Open your eyes and maybe you'll see. And it's so lame. I
It's
love it.
super lame.
It's so silly. But and then Matthew turns into a bunch of coins.
Which is great.
And Scott's like, ooh,
I
coins.
love that part. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like $2.50.
Yeah. uh, so Ramona explains to Scott that if they're gonna date, he has to defeat 7 evil exes. But all Scott hears is, "We're
We're
dating."
dating.
It cuts to the next day, and we got like the Seinfeld song playing.
Yeah, and he busts in like
It's
Kramer
all like a
or
sitcom.
George, maybe.
Yeah. And he explains to Wallace that Ramona's coming over, and Wallace is like, "You cannot see her unless you break up with Knives." And so then Scott goes to break up with Knives.
It's kind of a pansy about it.
I also do love this that, wait, no, they don't break up yet. That's my bad. But I love when he comes in, Wallace is making bacon, and then he finishes and Scott just takes the plate to
Takes
eat all the bacon.
and then he takes it back though.
It's just yeah, he does take it back. Thank God. I've been so pissed off.
And then yeah, that the guy that he was hitting on just walks out of the
Yeah.
bedroom.
It's like, "Hey, that's not fair."
You can't write the book on gay rules.
Yeah.
You gotta go break up with your
It's like, I didn't write the gay rule book. But so and then he talks about how Wallace is gonna go to Lucas Lee, like, they're shooting somewhere in Toronto, Lucas Lee, the
Oh.
Chris Evans part, and they show a little commercial for it, and I love it because he's, like, limps into a phone booth, and it's like well, so Lucas Lee is like a he explains him as he was a pretty good skater, and now he's a pretty good actor, and he goes into the phone booth and, like, calls this guy, it's like, "The next click you hear is me hanging up, and the one after that is me pulling the trigger." But
Uh,
like, his gun is empty. If it's gonna click and he's gonna hear it, it just means he has an empty clip. It's like it's so si oh, I cannot wait to get to that fight. Whenever I wrote down my notes, all it is just lines that Lucas Lee says. But Knives shows up, they're going out. Knives confesses that confess his love for Scott, and then Scott
Scott breaks
breaks
up
up with
with her,
her.
finally.
I love whenever he says, "I love," and, like, the love comes out of her mouth, and he's like, shoos it away. And, like, during this, Scott is surrounded by imagery of envy. And then another dope Edgar Wright thing is that just with, I don't know, 20 seconds of a bus ride, he just completely shows you all the feelings that everybody's feeling. Because Scott's on the bus, and, like, as this bus is driving, you see, like, the face of Knives and Scott
Uh-huh.
being sad, and then, like, a shot of Ramona goes by, and then you see him slowly smiling and being in a good mood. It's like, "Ah, god
Yeah, that was a really
dang
interesting
it.
scene.
Love it." Scott tells the band that he broke up with Knives, but he says, "Don't worry about it, I got a new girlfriend." And then Kim's like, "You're the salt of the earth." It's like, "Oh, thank you." Ramona shows up with blue hair. He bails on the band practice. Scott freaks out with Wallace saying, like, she changed her hair. How could she do that?
She's so
Why would she do
crazy.
that? She's insane. Scott and Ramona have their dinner date. Wallace is saying, like, if you don't, it's like, look, whenever you inevitably ruin all this, I'll be at the castle. I'll see you in 60 minutes. And then they have a cute little dinner thing. He sings her song that he wrote for her. They eat
And
garlic
she
bread.
says, "I can't wait to hear the rest of it, or
Yes.
when it's finished."
The rest of it? I love that, like, he made her dinner and it's just garlic bread. He's like, "That's my favorite food," which personally, honestly, I love garlic bread.
Yeah, it's so good.
And me and Natalie, we get, like, the big, like, Texas toast
Yeah,
bread
those are
that
amazing.
they're, like, frozen. You just throw them in the
Mhm.
toaster oven and heat it up, and it's so good, dude.
She's like,
I'm
"It makes you
eating that
fat."
tonight. Yeah, he's like, "You'll get fat." "Why will I get fat?" "Bread makes you fat." "Bread makes you fat?"
Uh,
And he talks about she says, "Your hair's getting pretty shaggy." He flips out. "Oh god." And so he explains the story that so when he was dating Envy, he got his hair cut right before they broke up, and now that they're broke up, he thinks that everything he did before they broke up is the reason that they broke
So he
up.
hasn't had a haircut in a year.
Yeah, so he's, like, been cutting his own hair,
Oh, that's right, yeah.
and he's kinda getting awkward and nervous, so he puts his hat on, and they go to the castle, and we're on the Lucas Lee film set, and we learn that Ramona dated Lucas, and he was a snot-nosed brat that he dated in drama. I just love this scene, like, here some of the lines, "The only thing between you and me is the 2 minutes it will take me to kick your ass." And then he, like, beats him up, and he goes over to Ramona, "Hey, how are you? He seems nice." And then he's, like, talking to him, and he turns him around into stunt double. It's like, "Sometimes I let him do the wide shots when I feel like getting blazed back in my Winnie." And so they're all beating him up. It's another awesome fight scene.
That's sweet.
Like, all the stunt doubles are beating him up because there's, like, a group of 10 of them.
Yeah, like
And
his
he's like,
cronies.
"You want me to go get you some coffee? I'm gonna go get some coffee." And he's walking away, he's looking at his phone, "Ha, ha, ha, that's hilarious." And then towards the end of the fights, he, like, beats him up, and he's on the ground, he's like, "You don't know about the league? Oh, don't worry, let's go get a beer." Boom! Knocks him out. And the way that Scott, defeats him is he asks, "Hey, can you do a thingy on that rail?" It's called the grind. "Can you do a grindy thingy on that rail?"
Uh,
And Lucas tries, but he bails on the grind. It's funny because,
it's
like,
awesome.
during the whole grind, it just keeps cutting to Scott. "Wow.
You just
Wow.
can't wait for him to hurt himself.
Wow." So
Wow.
Lucas bailed and so does Ramona. So he can't get a hold of Ramona, and him and Wallace are talking, just, like, by the fridge. They have the little words that spell like, the magnets that spell out words. You know what sucks? Takes an 8, turns it sideways. Everything. Oh, one of my favorite parts. And so Wallace is kinda giving him a little pep talk, saying it's like, "You need to break out the L word." Do you know what he says?
I can't remember.
Lesbians? No, love, Scott, love.
Oh, Scott, but
Yeah.
don't listen.
Wallace is telling him to man up and go get what he wants. And but then he's like trying to get Scott to go out or whatever, and then Envy calls Scott. Hey, Scott. Love it. Brie Larson's so
You're pretty good at that
good.
voice.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I'm
Shit.
crushing these voices.
I like your range.
Yeah.
You should try out.
I can do sultry girl and getting
Man,
blazed in my winnie.
that was like a soft-spoken Batman.
Yeah. I love during this call, like, it's just another thing. I mean, Edgar Wright, so good. I'm just gonna keep saying that. Just while there's a conversation, you just see, like, all the photo booth
Oh,
pictures
yeah,
of
those are
them
cool.
having a good time, and then
Yeah.
just slowly she leaves, and you're like
Yeah.
but this devastates Scott. Knives comes to the door, wants to talk to Scott. Scott jumps out of the door or window. And as he's leaving, he's attacked by Roxy or Egg, as some y'all know. Her? He's like, "I really don't wanna do this." It's like, "I'd like to postpone, darling, but I cashed my last rain check." "What's that from?" "My brain." But he convinces her that it's like, "We'll do this at another time." And she goes, "Next time, I'll be deadly serious. Next time." "What?" "Never mind." Oh, it's so funny. He calls his sister to visit her at work. He goes in and it's Julie instead, and this is where we get the, like, black box over her
Oh, yeah.
face. So funny. Um, but so we learn Envy is in town. We see that Ramona is at the cafe, and as they're talking, Ramona's like, "You can bail if you want," but Scott's cool with it. He's, obviously he's cool. He seems like a chill guy. Then we see Envy is behind Ramona. She comes up to him, "Your hair's getting shaggy." Cuts to him, hat on. And, like, they're talking about Ramona, and she's like, "You're jealous? I'm allowed." And then Envy invites him to the show. Ramona and Scott talk about Todd, like, on their way. They're just out the thing. And so guy Envy cheated on Scott with is
It's
Todd.
Todd.
And then Ramona says, "Oh, I dated a Scott or a
A
Todd."
Todd.
Whoops. But Scott doesn't put 2 and 2 together.
Dang, Scott.
We learn the band is opening for Envy. Scott doesn't want to, but they're like, "We're doing it. You can't make us stop." And yeah, it's because they asked Steven. Knives is stalking them. Like, it's like, we need stalkers, like, robot.
Yes.
It's kinda scary.
Do you have
Uh,
a stalker yet?
huh?
Do you have a stalker yet?
I've never had a stalker. Have you?
Uh, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think I
But I
have.
don't think all the but the good stalkers are the ones you don't know. So
That's true. I mean,
I have
never
faith.
know if we
They're out there.
took this blanket off this window. Could just be someone staring at us right now.
Weird.
Technically, I do have 2 stalkers.
Nice.
One goes by
Oh,
the name Gracie,
Gracie and
and one goes
Snake.
by the name Snake. They follow me everywhere and are constantly staring at me,
Yay.
just wanting me to
So
do
jealous.
something. They're like, "Will you stand up and maybe walk towards the door so I can get really excited about that door opening maybe?" To be a dog.
Uh,
But Knives goes home with her friend. She buys some hair dye. She's getting real riled up and sad, calls Ramona fat. She said, and this is such a great line because at one point, this was very much me. Like, I dated a girl. She had way better music taste than me. A lot of music, like, that I end up liking a lot was because
those
there
are
were
her.
bands that she liked. She says, "She got a head start. I only learned about good music 2 months ago." It's like, man, I feel like a
Uh,
lot of people probably
I've
can
had this.
relate to
Yeah.
that, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
Exactly.
it's like I was stuck in my high school music and I was like, "Oh,
There's other stuff.
there's other stuff? What is indie rock? I only know emo rock,
Oh,
emo
wonderful.
punk, pop punk." But she dyes her hair blue like Ramona. To make Scott jealous. She gets with Neil. Um, so we cut to the band playing at the, Clash at the Demon Head show.
Oh,
She
yeah.
goes down, Steven's freaking out. It's like, "Did we suck? Do you think we suck?" And it's like, "No." Or Ramona's like, "Do you think you suck?" She walks off. She has to go. She knows we suck. Oh, I feel like Edgar Wright and the Coen brothers kinda have, they're very similar with their dialogue a little bit. Because you know how
Okay.
we're talking about The Big Lebowski and, like, repetitive dialogue?
Yes.
It's like that's
There's
very
a lot
much
of
in
that
this
in this.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so Ramona's in the bathroom and we see Knives is there. "Hey, Ramona." It's
It's
she
crazy.
Ramona's walking out of the bathroom. "What the hell?" Um, and then we got the gang, they're all talking. They're talking about how, "Oh, it looks like, Knives is with young Neil now." And Ramona asks, "How old is she?" And you got, like, the wheel spinning, and it, like, gets stuck between, "I don't know her," and, "I gotta go pee." So it's like, "I gotta go pee on her." Oh.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's so crazy. And then we get the Clash of the Demon Head song.
That was a cool
It's such a good song.
yeah, it was a cool song, and the whole sequence is just awesome.
Yeah, so this is a song by Metric, it's called Black Sheep. It's, like, already a song that was
Oh, that's cool.
out there. Metric is, like, this Canadian band. A lot of the songs that you hear are by Canadian bands.
Makes sense.
But Brie Larson actually, like, sang this, I guess, in the movie, but they ended up using the Metric song. I don't
That's
know
cool.
why, like Metric singing. But I kinda like Brie Larson's version better, actually, which is weird. It's on the
Uh,
album for anybody that wants to listen to
oh,
it,
that's
the,
fine.
soundtrack.
I'm
So
going to look that up.
they're watching them play, and Scott tells them, "Oh, the guy on the bass, that's Todd." And Ramona's like, "Yeah, I know." And then he figures out that
Oh,
that's the
man.
Todd that dated.
She likes bassists.
Yeah, she's into bass boys. Envy invites them all backstage. Envy's kinda antagonizing the group. Knives is very awestruck about it. Envy sing and then she, like, interrupts him for, like, the 3rd time, and Todd, like, punches her so hard that it's like, punched the highlight out of her hairs.
That
He
was
goes,
that's so
sits
cool.
down, and Envy's like, "You're incorrigible." He goes, "I don't even know the meaning of the word." And Todd's just being a douche, and Scott gets up, he's like, "I can't believe it. You cock. You cocky cock." And then Scott and Todd fight. But what we Scott didn't know, Todd has vegan powers. Because if you because eating vegan means you can use 100% of your brain, which is
Not true.
another movie that we learned that we talk about that in. And he's explaining how vegan makes
It just makes you cool and weird
yeah,
and
and
quirky, I
Envy's like,
guess.
"Being vegan just makes you better than other people."
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Every vegan I know is better
Uh, People at
than
work used to think I was vegan because, I don't know, people just start saying things about me and
because
everybody believes it.
yeah, sure. Why
Like,
not?
even Devin, he thought I was vegan, even though I've gone to his house.
And
I grilled hamburgers with him and
and
ate those
I was about to
hamburgers.
say, do they know, like, do most of them know what veganism is?
Yeah, yeah, they just didn't
I'm
think
sure Devin does.
yeah.
It's just weird that he would think
Yeah, I
that.
know, I was like,
Maybe he's
"Dude."
just like like recently converted.
Yeah, and hey, Devin, shout out.
Hey, Devin,
What up,
those
word?
burgers changed my life in a
Yeah,
bad way.
yeah, I'm not vegan anymore. Uh, Ramona and Todd, we learned that they dated for a week and a half. They wrecked stuff together. This was like their emo, like grunge phase, I guess. I don't know.
It's pretty sweet.
I guess this would actually be like her second emo phase. I guess it's more the punk phase. And he punched a hole in the moon for her. And later, when they're at when it's the Katanagi twins and like the roof falls out, you can see that there's a hole punched in the moon.
Yeah,
It's so good.
that's cool.
Um, and what is Scott, corrects Todd's grammar. He's like, "Don't talk to me about grammar." And then he's talking about how he's gonna, like it's like they're trash talking. He's like, Todd's "Tell it to the cleaning lady on Monday." It's like, "What?" It's like, "'Cause you'll be dust by Monday." "What's on Monday?" "Because it's Friday now, and she has the weekend off, so she'll clean Monday." It's like, "Whatever." Uh, Beats up Scott some more. They have a bass battle, and then Scott part about being a vegan is you can telepathically talk, and he can read your mind. So Scott pours half and half in one of the coffee cups and thinks about it being in one. So Todd ends up drinking the half and half. And then the vegan police show up. One of them's Thomas Jane. It's like, you can't take my powers away. I get 3 strikes. This is my first one. And he's like, no, it isn't. And then it's like, you knowingly took part in gelato. Gelato isn't vegan? Milk and eggs, bitch. It's like, and then you knowingly ate chicken. Chicken's not vegan? And then, uh, so they de-veganize him or whatever. They, like, run off and they high five. Yeah. It's so funny.
Yeah.
And then Scott gives him the final, like, kick or whatever. And it's like, you once were a vegan, now you will be gone. So good. And then the gang, they talk about going to an after party. Ramona and Scott are starting to bicker. Ramona explains that all relationships that end are messy, but Scott is in denial. Roxy shows back up while they're at the party, and we find out that she's an evil ex because Ramona had a sexy phase.
Yeah.
She's like, "What? I was bi-curious." Roxy's like, "Well, I'm a little bi-furious." Ramona helps fight, which is really cool. I love this sequence where
Yeah, it was really awesome.
like, she fights and then helps him fight. After the fight, Scott is a bit of a jerk.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I
there's
love how she dies, though.
Yeah,
She has, like he gives her an orgasm, maybe?
yeah,
And she dies.
because like, Ramona touched the back of her
Her
knee.
knee, yeah,
Yeah,
like, that's the weak spot.
and then she, like, just
He's like,
orgasms
"You'll
and
never
explodes.
be able to do this to her."
Her.
He's like, "Yeah, probably right."
Man, there's, like, 5 good lines in that, and I forgot to write all of them down, but she really is kind of I mean, she's low key kind of one of the best parts of the movie,
Yeah.
and all I can say is her.
She's hilarious.
Uh, so, yeah, after the fight, Ramona and Scott, they fight. Scott's being a jerk. He has 2 G&Ts. I'm starting to wonder that, like, maybe Scott, like, because he says he doesn't drink. I wonder if he had, like, an alcoholism problem for a little bit.
I don't know what
Because like, talk like, a few times they talk about him drinking, and he's like, "Oh, I don't do it." Like, everybody drinks, like
Oh, I see what you're
and
saying.
then people are like, "Well, I remember you getting pretty drunk off some G&Ts." So I'm assuming there's,
No,
like, a
in this part, though, he says that he was drinking Coke Zero.
Yeah, but then he goes to the bar and orders
Oh,
2 gin and tonics, yeah,
right.
which is I don't know. I'm assuming there's, like, a secret thing. Maybe that's one of the 10 secrets that Michael Cera got for his
Yeah, I'm sure.
character. So Ramona and Scott, they split, but she gives them like, a list with all the bands or people that she's gotta fight, and we learn the next fight is with the Katanagi twins.
It's so weird to give him the list, like, I'm leaving,
Yeah, "I'm breaking up with you.
but here's how you can get me back."
Here's your stupid list. Because she doesn't wanna break up. They know it's a stressful situation. But we also learn that they are also the next band in the Battle of the Bands. That was real easy to say. Scott's angry and tense. He's like, "I'm ready to fight. Let's go. I know battles. You know bands. Let's go." Whoa, I got the tingles. But they show up and it's Amp versus Amp.
Oh, yeah, that was sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
And
is
we
one
s
of the coolest
I
parts.
know this we'll get to in one of our categories that I've come up with. We see Ramona is back with Gideon, who we find out is G-Man. Um,
Gee,
oh,
man.
I guess it makes sense that she gives the list because she wants Scott to fight them all because if she defeats them all, she's free.
I
So that makes
guess.
sense. Though even
Yeah,
if she decides not to get back with them, it's like, well, at least I can be me.
yeah,
We figured
I
it out.
guess.
Hey,
But
we
then
figured it out. We figured out the
I'm
movie.
confused. Then wouldn't he be like,
Well, I guess
I
technically
don't
he would
know.
be one of them, but I guess
Yeah.
she can just leave him because he's just like a
She
awkward
she could probably
bird-looking
talk him
boy.
into offing himself into
Yeah, it's like,
coins.
"Oh, I can just beat you up myself." And this scene freaking rules.
It does
The 2 bands battle.
suck.
They, like, become giant monsters,
Yeah.
like, in the middle of it,
Kaiju.
they yeah, and, like, they get flown back, and then, like, it just gets real intense whenever they click, like what are they called, like, the pedals
Uh,
that you click? Are they just
I don't know.
pedals
Yeah.
that, like, can change the sound of your instruments?
Right.
Which
I don't know
also
what I've never used them.
this is another scene where, like, get close up on the, instruments, and I love it because you can see so much, like, personality in their instrument. Like, all of Scott's thing is, like, being held together by duct tape at this point because all the battles, and all of, like, the guitarist, all his stuff is all scratched up and run down.
Yeah, it looks like it's got water damage on it.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it's been left out in the rain a lot. But the conclusion of the thing is that Sex Bomb wins,
This is
and
how band battles should be.
yeah. Oh, man, I'd go to every concert ever if this was it. And Scott gains an extra life, and I think about this scene often in my life.
What?
Scott runs out to tell Ramona he's in lesbians with her. Ramona says they have to break up. At the end of the scene, he's like, "I said lesbians." She says she can't help herself around him,
Uh,
and Gideon is what we learn later is a perfect asshole. Gideon offers the band a 3-album record deal. Scott refuses, but Neil signs in his place.
It's sold out.
Yep. They sell out, and eventually they'll be
Tisk
having no
tisk.
fun. We're having no fun. Scott goes to Wallace. Wallace tells him he has to move out. Should go stay with Ramona, but they broke up.
Ooh.
Then Gideon calls to invite him to the Sex Bombs show, and Scott decides to fight him.
Yeah.
And he goes through. It's like password, whatever.
Let him in immediately.
Second password. Go ahead. And then he confronts Gideon, and he's like getting ready to fight, and he's like, "You want to fight me for her? Is that not clear?"
Gideon man, G
Yeah,
man.
G-man.
Oh my god.
He admits he's in love with Ramona, and he earns the power of love. Pulls a sword out of his
Oh
heart.
no, that's the power of self-respect.
That's the second time.
Oh
The
right.
first time's the power of love. He fights Gideon. He starts losing. Knives pops out of nowhere to fight, but she's not there to fight Gideon. She's there to fight Ramona because she blames her for everything. And he admits he cheated on Knives with Ramona, and he's like, I cheated on Knives." And then Knives like, "You did? You cheated on both of us?" "No, I only cheated on Knives."
What's the difference?
"What's the difference? You weren't wronged?" It's like, "No, you cheat on one person. Technically, you've cheated on both of them at some point, right?" It's still
I
all
guess.
cheating. It's all
Yeah,
cheating if you do it
it's
with 2 different girls, right? Or
sticky.
guys. And then
Haha.
Scott's dead.
But
He's
he's
in
got
his
extra life.
yeah. But he's back in his dream world where he's got, like, the cactus. Uh,
I love his dream world. I
right?
think it's
It's
really cool.
just a desert with a cactus in
Yeah.
it,
I thought it looked really neat
right?
the way they shot it.
Isn't it crazy? This is a 2010 movie, and I'd almost say that the green screen effects, the CG everything CGI-wise looks
Looks incredible.
amazing.
I thought
It all
yeah.
looks real.
I thought it was awesome.
Like
Especially when they turn into they shatter into coins and stuff.
yeah, it's like,
That's like my favorite part.
how? But yet, we watch almost every movie now, and it all looks like trash. So, we're slowly getting worse looking movies. So we learned that Ramona was obsessed with Gideon, and he has a way of getting to her head. And he's like, "Well, that sucks to hear." It's like, "No, there's
Mhm. Yeah,
literally
there's a
something where he's controlling me." That's
mind
evil.
control computer chip just stuck to the back of her neck.
Yeah. And she says, like, he's talking about fighting Gideon, and she says, "You shouldn't fight him for me, but for yourself." And then
Dang.
he he learns his lesson for the movie, and he gets a life, and then everything happens again in 2 times speed. Scott starts apologizing for everybody in the band, and then Scott earns
Alright,
the power of self-respect.
so was it kinda like since everything was done again, was it kinda like restarting the level,
Mhm.
sort of?
Yeah, it's like yeah. It's like
I
you're
didn't
playing
catch that
Elden
at first.
Ring and you're
Yeah,
just
and
like,
you have to
"Dang it, I
fight
died.
everybody
Gotta
all
run
over
back."
again.
Yeah, but now I've learned, so now
So
I can do it.
that makes more sense.
And so he gets the upper hand on Gideon and then stops Knives from attacking. He confronts her and Ramona and apologizes to both. Knives and Scott both fight Gideon by doing you know,
Yeah,
their
the dance
their
move, the
dance
Dance
moves.
Dance Revolution fight
Yeah,
game
their ninja
stuff.
fight revolution. Gideon breaks Scott's sword again. Ramona hits him. Gideon beats her up, which is bad.
Oh, Gideon's sword
Bad.
was way cooler.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like, if you read when he pulls out it he, like, makes his sword, it's, like, +8 cockiness. And I think it's, like, +7 gum because he's, like, chewing gum the whole time.
Yeah.
There's a part where he knocks him down, it's like, "You made me swallow my own gum."
Yeah. Which is a bad feeling, I'll
Yeah.
give him that.
It is that is true.
'Cause you're like, "Oh, it's gonna be in
Anytime you
there a
swallow your
while."
gum, it always feels wrong.
'Cause you because there's that rumor, I think it's a rumor that it stays in
Yeah.
your body forever, or like 7
That's gonna be
years or
stuck in
you
my
know?
digestive system for 7 years. But Scott defeats Gideon.
I swallowed a nickel one time,
Did
and
you?
I thought I was gonna die.
Did you poop it out?
I sat in a box and drank orange juice for like an hour. It was so sad.
Is that the way you get nickels
I
out?
was oh,
"Honey, he swallowed a nickel. Get the box and orange juice out."
no, I was just a kid. Didn't know what was gonna happen to me.
Is that your happy place? A
Nope.
box and orange
I just
juice?
wanted to be alone in solitude
Just
and
like someone walks in,
accept my defeat with the
just sees
nickel.
you crying and drinking orange juice, is like, "You okay?" "No, I swallowed a nickel."
Well, it made me think of that because Gideon coughs up a quarter.
Yeah, yeah, it's so good, it's so funny. But how did you get the nickel out?
I guess I just pooped it out. I don't know. I was real little. And I was scared because I didn't know what was gonna happen. You know?
That sounds painful, man.
Cha-ching.
What if you just, like, secretly still have a nickel in your stomach?
Oh man, that'd be weird.
Yeah, that would be weird.
I think I would have found it by now. I've had like
Man,
MRIs and stuff.
you're drunk.
Not of my body though.
You're like you eat a nickel and you drink orange juice. Your stomach was probably like, "What is this?" It's like in The Office when Saber comes and they give them their, like, aluminum, drinking canister, and Michael Scott gives everybody orange juice to, like, drink out of, and they drink it out of the aluminum, thing, and they're like, "Ooh, this hurts to drink." It's like your stomach was probably like, "Ah, stop." Anyways, Scott has one last fight. Nega Scott. And he's gotta do it on his own. But it's okay, because point of the story is he learned
he
himself.
he learned himself.
He he
Yeah.
has self-respect now. Now knows himself, so they become best
Yeah, he
friends,
kinda
and
grew up a little bit.
they're gonna go get brunch together.
Yeah, that's great.
He's cool, we
You
shot the shit.
gotta fight him alone.
Yeah.
And they just ended up liking each other a lot.
Yeah, I love it. I
Like,
love when they walk out and there's 2 Michael Sayers talking to each other,
I
it's
think
so
that
good.
just shows he's just, like, cool with his past
Yeah,
or something, or that his change.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's exactly, yeah. He he's accepted who he is. And Ramona decides she's gonna split. Knives still and like it looks like Scott's gonna stay with her. And then Knives like, "What are you doing? Go to her." It's like, "You should be with her. Plus, I'm too cool for you anyways."
Yeah.
He says, "Ciao, Knives," and Scott and Ramona they go and they're just gonna
Ciao.
go somewhere.
Yeah, they go through the door.
They go
It
through the
says,
door.
"Continue, continue."
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I should put that at the end of the podcast.
Continue.
But yeah, so that's the movie.
It's
It's
a
a
really fun
perfect
movie to
movie.
watch. Yeah.
It's just I mean, so even before so we're re-recording this. I'm sure y'all love me telling you that every time, and it's almost been half the podcast you listen to at this
We've
point.
almost caught up, I think.
Yeah, but, like, I watched it for the first time that we were gonna talk about it. It was, like, 4 times, and I watched it twice now, and honestly, I could stop this podcast now
And
and
go
go
watch it again.
rewatch it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
might watch it tonight with my kids,
yeah,
see
I
if
mean,
they
this
like it.
oh, your kids would love this movie, and if not, feel like, "Well, we're giving it a year, you're rewatching it with me." But I don't know. It's just I don't know. I just love this
It
movie.
is cool. It just makes you feel good.
Yeah, so we'll go to our first ever category called
Drum roll.
the good, the bad, the ugly. And so this is where we will tell you our favorite part, what we think is the worst part, and the ugly, which is a part where we don't think aged so well. I think we can both agree the ugly is
Oh, yeah, it's
dating a
dating
high
the
schooler?
underage girl, I
Yeah.
think, from that, but I was gonna say the hair was the ugly
Oh,
part.
yeah.
Even Ramona's hair, and especially Scott's
You
hair.
don't like her hair?
I think it's just I know, I don't. I don't know. I don't
Wow.
even know why, I just don't.
I guess I'm one of those
I'm allowed
guys.
to not like it, okay,
Yeah, you
Jesse?
don't have to like it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I mean,
Everything else about her was cool.
I could never say anything about hair because I've had so many bad haircuts in my life.
Yeah, maybe she just is on a bad streak. I don't know.
No, I do like her hair personally.
I like
So,
the color,
yeah.
but anyway.
What would you what's like what do
I
you
thought it would have been cooler if she had like a more of like a I don't know what to say, like a doll, like kind of like dollish hair since it's already blue, like kind of like a chic,
Oh, yeah?
like shoulder length, like kind of curls up at the end.
Oh, gotcha. I
I
understand what
don't
you're
know.
saying.
I don't know.
I get what you're saying. Okay. So Jason thinks she's ugly. Okay. So that's what he
No.
just said. No, I'm just kidding. What do you think what's what's a scene in this movie or just something in it that's just bad? You're just like, didn't work for me. For
I don't
example,
know.
for me is the Matthew Patel song.
Oh yeah.
That's mine.
Yeah.
Just didn't work for me. Like,
Uh,
it just I don't know. It just wasn't like I love his character. Like when he's like Scott Pilgrim.
yeah, he's like really into fashion or
It's
something.
like evil ex boyfriend. I don't know.
Yeah, he went Bollywood on him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I love the guy, but just like the song when I do it, I'm like, it's like, thank goodness they played Garbage Man because if I watch this with someone who's never seen it, I'd be like, I promise the songs get better. But that'd be my bad.
Yeah, well, then my bad is just the hair.
The
I can't
hair,
get over it,
that
man.
makes sense. Yeah. You can say the hair. Wow, this guy really hates hair over here. I mean, truthfully, everybody kind of has a bad haircut in this.
Yeah.
Like Kim's hair is
Is
kind
that
of crazy. Neil has like hair that I had in high school where I put a toboggan on my head just to like
Yeah,
flatten
to
it as
cover it
much
up.
as possible. Yeah, I can see that. Except Kieran Culkin, he has good hair. But he's had the same hair since Igby Goes West, which is a movie.
I haven't seen that one either.
Me neither, but
Anyway.
I've seen the cover of the poster a lot and good. So what do you think the best part about this movie or like your favorite scene is?
I think the scene he when he gets self-respect and he pulls the sword out and just, destroys those, like,
Oh
goons.
yeah, that does rule. I think the good for me is well, all the music that the band plays is spectacular, but if I didn't narrow it down, it'd be Threshold.
Yeah,
That whole scene, the
that's cool.
Katanagi twins,
Yeah,
definitely.
it was
God,
awesome.
like every time that scene plays, it's like I've probably seen it over 20 times now, and just it never disappoints. Never disappoints.
So colorful, shiny.
Yeah. So
Top
next, we're
2.
gonna do double feature. So this is the portion where we recommend a movie that would go well with this movie.
I think if they whenever Ramona and Scott walk through the door at the end, if they that would be a cool transition for, Inner Player One or
Ready
Ready
Player
Player
One?
One, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, because I
It's a
think
very
Ready
video gamey movie,
yeah,
yeah.
it's all it is really, and I think they do the same thing with the coins, like,
Yeah.
whenever he destroys, an enemy, you know?
Yeah. Which that movie has a like, I didn't love the movie, but, I mean, I didn't dislike it,
Right.
but there are like, the race scene where
That was
they're
cool.
driving, you got, like, King Kong and all that, really cool.
Yeah.
Loved all that, and the Shining portion
Oh,
of
yeah.
it because Stephen King or S Steven
Spielberg.
Spielberg really just wanted to revisit The Shining because he's obsessed with Stanley Kubrick, who did The Shining,
Oh, wow.
2001 and stuff.
That's cool.
My double feature I guess it's actually a triple feature because I would say Baby Driver, but that's an Edgar Wright movie. I'm
Ah.
assuming after you watch this, you're gonna wanna watch all his movies, so I'll just go ahead and make that assumption. But I would say 500 Days of Summer.
Oh, cool.
Have you seen that?
No.
Ah, it's, directed by Mark Webb. He did the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, they're not great movies, but he's really good with, like, relationship stuff,
That's cool.
and if you like scenes that random, like they're very similar in ways of because 500 Days is about, uh, a guy meets a girl named Summer. It's 500 days of the relationship,
Huh.
but it's all about him really being in love with her, but she just wants to be, like, friends with benefits. Or
Oh,
they just wanna
okay.
she just wants to be friends and not really have a relationship. So this is kinda about their story. There's parts where it, like, breaks out into, like, a song, like, after he has sex, like, they have sex for the first time, it breaks out into the song the next day,
Business time.
but it's got really good music in it. You know, it's I guess it's kind of a Manic Pixie Dream Girl type
Oh,
movie
cool.
too. Like, does it age quite well? There's elements of it that don't age well. So if
Okay.
you like movies like that, maybe those work, but I would say 500 Days of Summer is a great movie to go with this.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it now.
I think
Sounds
it's on
good.
Amazon. It's really good. But yeah, do you have any final thoughts about the movie?
No, I mean, it's just a fun watch, you know?
Yeah.
Just the I was at home not doing a whole lot today and turned it on and had a great time watching
Yeah. It's definitely I don't really know anybody that doesn't like this movie,
it.
but it's just like, I like movies that explore, like, past relationships and overcoming bad relationships that, like, cause trauma in your life and having to defeat that just so you can continue to have relationships in your past and
Oh, wow.
or in your future and learning from it. So I think that's kinda like the movie's about. Like, the fights represent Ramona and Ramona gaining control of her life and Scott overcoming kind of like a jealousy for his I don't know, his jealousy over other people.
Yeah.
And,
I
you
kinda
know,
wish this is how relationships are now, where you just had
you
to
have to
fight someone
I know, because 'cause
to win their hearts,
I'd lose
I
a
guess,
lot.
or to make sure they're not being predated,
Yeah.
preditized, predat predatored? Pre pre
And you know what? I think on that note, we can wrap it up. But thank you for listening. Our intro and outro is done by
A
Joey
snake.
Prosser. I don't know if the mics are picking up my dog, but he is really wanting out of this room.
Thanks, Joe.
Joey, thanks for the intro and outro. You can follow him on Twitter at Mr. Joey Prosser. Follow me on Letterbox at DA Jesse James. And it's duh Jesse James. I keep saying DA because I feel like it's very lame that
Duh.
when I was a young kid, I was like, you know what's cool? I like to say duh
Duh.
Jesse James instead of the. So I live with that for the rest of my life now. Follow us on Twitter at We Recommend Pod. Oh, it's the same thing on TikTok. Usually on TikTok, we just post like little clips from our thing. So if you want to follow us there,
Give us
if
some
s-
rate and review us. Give us some ideas. What do you
y-
like? What do you don't like?
yeah, and if you are listening to this with a friend and you're like, oh, how can I find this on like other streaming platforms? Because we're on all of them at this point, except Amazon Music, because they will not fix it for some reason. Go to our LinkedIn link tree. It's just slash we recommend podcast. Um, and yeah, join us next week when we'll be talking about Studio Ghibli's film produced film that
Princess
is
Mononoke.
Princess
I hope I
Mononoke,
said that right.
which I think is personally my favorite of his.
It's pretty awesome. He's
Yes.
got a new movie coming out soon.
Yeah, no, it's this year.
Can't wait.
We'll have to do another one when that movie comes out, so when
I
people are
can't
looking to listen. Yeah,
wait.
I know. I can't wait for it to devastate me. Did you watch his last movie?
The one with the witch?
It's
The
The
little
Wind
girl?
Rises or whatever. It's kind of about, like, war, and
Oh, no, maybe?
all
No,
his
maybe
movies
not.
are
Yeah,
secretly devastating,
there's a lot of
man.
war stuff in his movies.
It's like My Neighbor Totoro, you're just like, "Oh, it's a cute little family film," and it's like, "Oh, their mom's is dying in the hospital?
I know.
Thought we were just running around some dust bunnies or something." But yeah, join us next week for that. But thank you for listening to us today.
Yes, thank you.
Rock on. We're here to make you sad and think about movies and stuff. I've been Jesse.
I'm Jason.
Thank you. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.